Yeah, it is recording right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for the reminder, because I paused it when I just joined and then was waiting for you and I forgot to start it again. So thank you for the reminder. Any other questions before we start? Okay, good. No questions. So let's get started. If you have any questions, please feel to interrupt me and just ask questions. I will be admitting more people. I see more people are coming. But feel free to unmute yourself and ask me a question if you have any. Okay, let me share my screen first. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Good. That is good. Okay, good. So this is the test resume I would like to show you, and then to show you how to improve it. And on the, I have another file with resume creation rules. So we use it in our school for our students, how to create a specific and great looking resume. And we go through this list. So they have some initial resumes, right? There are a lot of applications right now when you can just go to the application, enter your data, and it will build the resume for you. But then you need to have you need to know some rules in order to create like perfect looking resume, because, for example, when we open a position for manual tester, we usually get like 80 to 100 applicants for a single position, and I need to go through those resumes and then select maybe 15 candidates for the next step, which is interview, right? And in order, so your resume's goal is just bring you to the next step, to the interview. That's the only goal it has. And this is the most important, actually most important goal, because resume can be used during the interview to ask you some specific questions about your experience or about your skills. But the main thing what you need to understand is that resume's goal is to bring you to the interview. And in order to do that, your resume needs to be one of the 15 best of those 100 resumes people sent, right? Okay, so first of all, I would like to start with general understanding that resume should be specific for a specific job description. Of course, we are lazy and we would like to create some general resume that can be used for many job descriptions, many positions we apply for, right? And that is okay. Usually that works, and there are many positions we can apply for using a single resume without any change. And that is okay, because some jobs, they look similar, especially if you apply for a specific position. For example, people applying for development position or for software tester position, usually they are like very similar, and the skills you need to have are very similar, right? And this tool set and skill set you should have is very similar, so you can use the single resume. But there are some specific jobs that require some specific skills, and they are usually listed in job description. So in order to be one of the best candidates for that position, and your resume to be one of the best ones for that position, you need to list those skills in your resume, update your resume specifically for that position. That applies not only for software jobs, but for any job. If your job requires some specific skills and you have them, but they are not listed in your resume, so you need to add them. You need to add specific location or specific objective or skills or experience you had in the past, just specifically for that position. Because if people are looking for some candidates with specific skill set or specific tool set, they use some tools for that job, and you have experience with that tools, but you didn't list it. You didn't list that tool. So please go and update your resume and add that tool you have used in the past, because it's very important for this job description. Excuse me, I need to list people to see who's coming. Okay, now I see. Good. So that's general rule, because we will be going through to the resume, and I will be saying that right now, especially with this COVID situation, most of the software job, they don't require your position, your location, because right now most of the jobs are remote and nobody requires a location from you. But some of the jobs, they still require location because they are going to reopen an office soon, or they are just specific of the job doesn't allow them to work remotely, and they have to go to the office, right? And right now some jobs, they are still on site without working remotely, so those specific jobs will require location. So you need to also understand that if some jobs, they require some specific things from your resume, you need to do that. Let's go to our resume first. So first of all, let's start with name. As you can see, the first rule says, if you have complex name, it's better to simplify it for the US market. It applies especially for immigrants, when people coming from India, for example, or from some other countries, when they have some names that are not similar to some US names, and that's working against you. Of course, nobody will discriminate you against your name, right? Nobody. But what happens, what I have seen, so when people have interviewed like 15 candidates, and then they want to discuss the candidates and make a decision, usually if people have complex names, it's hard for them to remember, and they just say, oh, that person or something like that, and they mention other person with some common name, with easy name, say, hey, how about that one? How about Mike? And they start talking more about Mike and make a decision to hire Mike instead of hiring better person. So they had better person, they maybe liked that person more, but somebody forgot the name, it was complex. So what usually happens, this is the real name of my coworker, so he names himself as Sonny instead of that complex name. And most of the companies, they don't require your legal name for most of the stuff they are doing. So if they will register you in the systems, in the chats, in Zoom, in all the systems they use internally, in communication tools they use, right? They will use your preferred name without legal name. They will use your legal name only for some registration in some paycheck systems, right? Some specific systems they will, but in most of the systems, in communications, if you have your preferred name, they will use it. And it will be easier for you to avoid the problem when you have several candidates, especially if you are pretty similarly successfully passed the interview with somebody, but that person just has simpler name and people were discussing, and behind the scenes, you don't see that. But behind the scenes, that will give you a little bit more opportunity to get this job, a little bit more, because maybe somebody will forget your name and so on. Just use simplified name, and maybe that's your preferred name, and it will give you some more, little bit more advantage. Clear? I hope that clarifies for you what happens behind the scenes. Okay, so then for contact info, right now, phone and email is enough. If people will ask you to provide your location because this is important for them, you will. But if they don't ask, if you just send your resume, if you just apply for a job and you just create your resume, just mention your phone and email. So they have your contact information, where you, how to reach you, and that's it. So let's not mention location and have just phone and email. For email, I also recommend our students not to use their emails, because most of the people, they have some weird emails like Alex777, Melissa 00196 or something like that, right? And it doesn't look good, and it's like common, very common email. But what I have seen, when I used to work at Apple, one person got a job just for a email. That person had very creative email, so he played with Gmail a little bit and found email, something like God of automation or God of coding or something like that. And when people were reading his resume, they just, hey, nice email, right? And this is what gives you some opportunity to get to the next step, which is interview. Because when people see some nice email, they think, hey, that's very creative. I would like to talk to that person. Just would like to ask, how did you get that email? Did you register like long time ago when everything was available, or how did you get it? Because it's very creative and they want to talk to you. And again, remember, resume is just the main goal of the resume is just bring you to the interview. So it should be like your advertisement. So you advertise yourself in your resume, and everything matters. Everything in resume will give you a little bit more advantage to bring you to the next step. So that's why we usually recommend our students, hey guys, just go and play with Gmail a little bit and try to find like some nice and funny, maybe funny email. So that will bring attention to your resumes, and people will call you to the interview because they would like to talk to you. So spend that time, but maybe you will spend an hour, maybe a little bit more, but it will be worth it because it will bring attention to your resume and they will call you to the interview. Another mistake people are doing is mentioning the legal status in the USA. So some people, they have H-1B visa, right? And some people, they come with spouses and then have just work permit. They authorized to work in the USA, and they mentioned that. But what happens, for example, what happened recently to my colleague, their lawyers, they forgot to do something. And USCIS, Immigration Service, they forgot to extend their work permit. And so she had to quit the job because she was not authorized to work in the USA anymore. So now she needs to wait to get another work permit extension and then to continue working. But right now she's not authorized because somebody forgot to do something. And that happens. And we understand that. But what happens? Many recruiters and many hire managers, they say, hey, I don't want that problem anymore. So let me hire just only US citizens and green card holders only, which is illegal. But they are mentioning that in job description. So if you go to many websites, when you look for your job, for a new job, you will see that recruiters or HR managers or hiring managers, they just mentioned that green card or US citizen only, and which is illegal because legally they cannot, let me mute somebody. Legally, they cannot tell you that they cannot reject you based on your immigration status or your work authorization status. So what I suggest here, and especially when recruiters will be calling to you, they usually say, hey, can you please send me a copy of your green card? Don't do that. Tell them, hey, when I successfully pass the interview and I will need to provide my documentation, I will. Not right now. And why that is important? Because, for example, that doesn't make sense even for recruiters. They would like to check if you have a green card or some specific visa they need, but that is illegal and they cannot tell you anything. They try, and some people just don't know that, and they send some work permit to them and they say, hey, this person has a work permit for 2 years. Oh, we don't need that. We don't want to take that risk. So let's reject that person based on that, which is illegal. But you never know the reason why they rejected you. Maybe they just didn't like your resume, and you cannot prove that. But they do that illegally. They do and reject many people's resumes based on legal status in the USA. So just do not mention this at all, especially if you're a green card holder or a US citizen. Of course, that's fine. You can mention whatever you want. But if especially you have work permit or you have some specific visa, which is employer dependent, do not mention that, because they need to hire you first. They need to give you an offer, and then they send you a form, I believe I-9 or something. I don't remember the name of the form, but they send you the form and there is a list of valid documents, and you just give your visa or you give your work permit, and that works. Because legally, according to law, they cannot discriminate you against you based on your immigration status. They do that, so just tell them. If they call you, just tell them, hey, I'm not going to share anything with you before I get an offer. And that makes sense because, for example, for me, when 100 people apply for my job that I just opened in my company, it doesn't make sense for me to collect 100 people data because it's just extra work for me. Maybe I will not even call most of them to the interview, right? I will call maybe 10 out of 100 people, or maybe 15 maximum. So why do I need to talk to many people, to 100 people, collect their data, to spend my time, invest my time into them if I'm not even going to consider them for this position? So it doesn't make sense. Some recruiters do that because they want to like filter out the candidates, but that is illegal. So you can simply say, hey, I will send you once I have a job offer. That makes sense, because once you get a job offer, then you provide your documentation. And that's it. And once you fill that form, you provide your documentation, they cannot do anything. So that's it. Legally, they have to accept whatever is working according to law. So just do that, remember that. So do not mention your legal status, just mention your phone number and your email, and simplify your name. This is about this part of the resume. Again, right now, it's a very good situation, especially for tech jobs, because many tech jobs are remote. So you are not limited by your local jobs. Previously, it was, for example, very hard to find a job in some small cities, even in big cities, but without some tech industry. Right now, you can apply for any position anywhere, and many companies they even hire people remotely. They want to pay less comparing to the office work and have people remotely. And everybody's right now doing that, especially tech giants. So you can easily right now join Google from wherever you live in right now and without any problems. So that's a great opportunity, especially for tech jobs, because you are not limited by only your local jobs. Right now, you can apply for any jobs across the USA. Okay, good. Any questions so far about this part?
What about US citizens?
Yeah, if you're a US citizen, you can mention that you are a US citizen. Usually it gives you some advantage for some jobs, because some jobs, for example, a friend of mine, she used to work for a company developing software for fingerprints, and they like cooperated with the FBI. They developed that software for them, and that job required US citizens or green card holders only, just to be in compliance with some rules and some laws, right? Because that's yeah, some specific purposes they are, right? But I can tell you that most of the jobs, they don't require from you to be US citizen or a green card holder, but many recruiters just illegally putting US citizen or green card holder on the job description because they would like to avoid many problems related to H1, for example. H1, they have to, when you come, if you have H1, so like your company needs to like sponsor you. they have to do some specific documentation. They would like to avoid that. If you, for example, your spouse of H1 holder, you have just work permit, and your work permit just needs to be extended every 2 years. But something can happen, as that happened to one of my colleagues, and she has to quit, right? Because her work permit was not extended, it expired, and she had to quit. So they'd like to avoid that, which is illegal, because we cannot discriminate people against people based on that. But they do that because you cannot prove that. They can say, hey, I rejected this person's resume because, I don't know, skills didn't match or something like that. And you cannot prove that. And they just put that on the job description. But knowing that it's illegal, they cannot do anything with that. If you tell them, hey, I will tell you once I get an offer, and they cannot do anything with that. So just remember that, and they cannot do anything with that. So you will just get a job, and then you will provide your documents, and nobody will tell you anything. Okay, let's go to objective. Should be clear and simple. Many people, they try to put something like, hey, I would like to be software development engineer in test in actively growing company where I can use my knowledge, improve my skills, or do whatever else. They usually mention, hey, and when I can buy stocks or something like that. No, it just mention your position you're applying for. So if that position in job description says software QA engineer, say software QA engineer. If it says software development engineer in test, mention that. If it says accountant, say accountant. So what they want from you, just mention that. This is the position you're applying for, or this is the person you are, and just mention that, and that's it. Just simple and clear. No verbose explanations where you want to. The company knows what kind of company they are, so you don't have to list that here, because you make, potentially there is a chance that you make mistake and you mention something they will not like. So just keep it clear and simple. Say just the position title, and that's it. For example, software development engineer in test. So this is an example actually of our resume for software development engineer in tests. And we provide this to our students. And we go with them through this resume and how to create it and how to improve it. So next, summary of qualifications. First of all, as you can see, there are some summary of qualifications listed here. So there should be just general things about you, about your past experience, but without details. So you will mention your experience over here in this section, experience, but in summary of qualifications, just list some good things about you, some your strong sides, and do not hesitate to praise yourself, because resume, again, it's your advertisement. Just you need to perceive it as your advertisement, as a flyer. For example, you open a restaurant, right? Your family has decided to open a restaurant. What will you do? You will print some flyers, you will hire a person to share them. And of course, in that flyer or that advertisement, you will say that, hey, my restaurant is the best in the city. We have very delicious food and you have to visit us, right? That's what you need to do to bring an attention to a restaurant, right? So, and people will come to you and try your food, and the goal of that flyer will be just to bring people. Then the next goal, when people come, you will need to really give them that delicious food, give them the best service. But the goal of that flyer is to bring people to a restaurant. Same about resume. Resume, it's a common mistake to think that resume is curriculum vitae. No, resume is resume. It's like advertisement. It's like flyer about your best sides, about why you are the best one for this position. And that's it. It's called to bring you to the interview. Then once you go to the interview, you have to prove your skills. You have to prove that you're best one. But before that, your resume has a single goal: bring you to the interview. So do not hesitate to praise yourself, and just list, especially in summary qualifications, just summary of your best sides, what you're the best candidate, your years of experience, what you best at something, and so on. And plus, what I see here, and this is common mistake people do, they just list everything in a single paragraph. And it's really hard to read when something ends and something starts. And if I would like to find something specific, it's really hard. I need to spend extra energy. I need to spend extra time to find something here. So what you need to do is just to use bulleted list. Every bullet is like a nail in my head when I am, as a hiring manager, reading your interview. Every bullet, just imagine that as a nail you just put in my head, and I like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good. So you need to do this to clearly show me what you are capable of. So now let's just compare what we had and what we have right now. Now I clearly can see, okay, this is about experience, and this person is expert in different types of testing. Oh, this person is able to build test automation framework from scratch. I even didn't see that in that paragraph because it was hard to like see it separately. Right now I clearly see every bullet, and that's why I need to bring that person to the interview, because that person, clearly I can see that this person is an expert and trying to tell me this. Hey, I'm expert, bring me to the interview, just talk to me. And if you, again, same about, remember about email, something that brings attention to your resume. If you show people that you're professional and you're not afraid of any challenges, any problems, that you say, hey, I'm expert, I don't care about your problems, I will solve them in like one day, because I know that when I joined a new job, I need to learn something new, I have to improve myself, maybe develop some new skills, and I will do that. So I'm not afraid of any challenges, and here I am, I'm a professional. So that's what you need to tell people about yourself. And summary of qualifications is the best place for that. Just general things about you, about why you're the best one. As you can see, this person is saying that it's very motivated and self-learning person who never stops. And when I read that, just imagine yourself in my shoes. When you read this, hey, this person really not afraid of anything. Just saying, hey, very motivated, never stops, makes a difference, actively learning tools and technologies. I already like this person because I see that this person is different from others, especially if you compare to others' resumes, right? You see other people and they say, hey, I just have like 5 years of experience, and I know Java, I know something else, and that's it. And other people saying, hey, I'm actively learning new tools, I would like to develop myself, I would like to develop new skills. And you just compare two resumes and you say, hey, this is way better, I would like to talk to this person. So try, when you create your summary of qualifications, it applies for any job, not only for tech job. Tell that I'm the best one. Just do not hesitate to praise yourself. Do not. Just, again, percept resume as your advertisement. You need to tell people that your restaurant, or you in this case, the best one, and they need to call you to that interview and they would like to talk to you. You need to do everything so they want to call you and they say, hey, this is look interesting, I would like to talk to this person and ask about this. That's what you need to do here. Okay, key person in the project. I like this one because that's what I like the most. So when people are trying to be key people on the project, they want not just to come to work and just get a salary and just sit in the nothing, just relax, but they would like to develop themselves. They would like to become a key person. So everybody needs them to help with something on the project. So project cannot survive without them. So that's what I like the most in this resume. And I would like to ask that person about this specifically. That's why I will tell probably my HR, hey, call this person, schedule an interview with me. And that's what will happen. Okay, now we're done with summary of qualifications. Let's go to technical skills. In technical skills, it's more about tech industry, but for other jobs, it can be like some tools used to work with. For example, there are some software or tools used for accounting, for example, or finance department, or if people just installing, I don't know, installing something, right? For example, sunroof, they have specific tools or software they work with, and as solar installers, they have to know those tools and they list them here. So same here. So for software jobs, it's the same. You just list your technical skills and the tools you used to work with, so you have experience with. So people, they know, hey, we are using this tool and this person has an experience with this tool. So yeah, that's good. That's a good fit. And especially in this case, you need to read a job description you're applying for, because job description should match with what you have. If that company, the job description requires C# as a coding language, you probably need to mention that in your resume, especially if you have an experience with. Of course, there is exceptions. I can tell you that I used to hire many people with different coding language experience to a position that has a different language as a requisite. Why? Because sometimes you just cannot find a good candidate, and it's worth investing time into that person with experience, with motivation, that has maybe different coding language experience, but it will take not much time for that person to learn a new language, because once you perfectly know one language, one coding language, it's easy to learn another one, like 2 weeks, a month, just learn some syntax specifics, and that's it. So I used to hire, for example, Python developer at Apple for JavaScript position, and it worked well. That person learned JavaScript like in 2 months and started creating everything from scratch. So sometimes that works. But if you have experience, for example, with C# and that job requires C#, and you have that experience, but you see, hey, I haven't listed that in my resume. So list that and make that like bold to see, hey, I have this experience with C# and this is how I used it in the past. So those people know, hey, we need this person because that person has experience with C# and we need that. So you will be one of the best candidates right away. Okay, also, same thing here, create bulleted list and break down all your skills and tools into logical sections. Because right now, and this is also a common mistake, that's what I see usually in many applicants' resumes. They just list their skills or the tools in single paragraph, and it's really hard for me to find something specific I am looking for. So just to help that person, again, how it works, we all hire emotionally. And if I open resume, when I clearly see every section, when I clearly see every bullet, right, I already like that resume. I just emotionally like. It's easy to read, and I say, hey, I would like to talk to this person. I like this resume. It's so nice. I just read like 10 resumes, and they were so hard to read. And right now I'm having this beautiful resume. I'm just tell my HR right away, hey, bring this person to the interview, just because your resume looks good. And so break down all your skills, software, to logical sections. For example, this is coding languages. Coding languages, which is JavaScript, HTML5, CSS, 3, Java, Python. Okay, this is something different. This is runtime for JavaScript, so I will mention it separately. What is this? This is test automation framework for this software development engineer in test. Framework. Okay. Then this is the test approach, automation approach. Okay. And this is tools. Bug reporting tools. And this is just something other tools. Okay, and I would like to make the sections bold so I can clearly see the section name. Sorry. And then let's try bulleted list. Maybe it will look better. I'm not sure, but maybe even a little bit better. Or maybe I can just do this. Yeah, that also looks not bad. And that's it. Now it looks way better than it was before, way better. Now I clearly see, okay, this is coding languages this person knows, good. And especially if we require JavaScript, good. This person has JavaScript. And Node.js, this is the main runtime we use for JavaScript, good. I like this person. And we're using WebDriver IO. This person has experience with Cypress, Test Cafe, but this is the main tool we are using, so that's good. And there, that person using page object model, great. And email reporting, CI wouldn't have this, but it would be nice to implement. So I already wanted to talk to this person, and it was easy for me to find this information here. And if, for example, if I mentioned in my job description that I would like to have some custom reporter, test reporter, and this person just went, read that job description, said, hey, I can mention something they will like in my resume because I have experience creating some custom email reporting, so I will mention this. And when they read my resume, they will say, hey, this is what we need. So that's why it's really important to try to match your resume with the job description. Most of the resumes, again, they will work with most of the job descriptions you're applying for, because some jobs, they have common skill set and tool set, right? If you're a solar installer, usually all of them, they have similar skill set or tool set. And you can use your single resume just to apply for all of those positions. But some of them, they have specific tool set. And if you see that specifics, just mention that in your resume, because that is important for that job description, and you will be best candidate for them right away. Okay, let me check if I didn't skip anything. Okay, I didn't mention that in summary of qualifications, since we have technical skills separately, did not mention any technical thing here. Just general things about yourself, praise yourself, tell them what kind of person you are, and mention your technical side. In technical skills, your tools you're used to use in technical skills and tools. You can see technical skills and tools over here. Okay. Good. And then also one of the most important things in your resume is experience. This is a section where you describe everything you have done on your previous job, on your current job, and on your other previous jobs. So in experience, mention that only related experience. For example, especially in my case, I'm teaching a lot of people who come from other countries, and they try to change their occupation, their job. For example, they used to work as, I don't know, accountant back in, I don't know, Europe, and they have to get a license here. They have to spend like few years learning this profession, or not just to get a license, right? Because and they decide, hey, I don't want to spend 3 years to get my occupation back. Let me just take a course for 4 months and become software development engineering test. So a lot of boot camps right now is like 4 or 5 months, and you become software development engineering test. And they decide to do that. And the common mistake they do, they mention their accountant experience, for example, in the past, and which is not related to software testing at all. So you don't have to do that. If you used to work on many jobs, you don't have to mention them. You have to mention everything which is related to the current job description for the job you're applying for. If you're applying for software development engineer in test position, just mention related experience. And what we do for experience, for the current experience, it's simple. Usually people work on some, for example, in this case, students, they work on some real project we give them. So they mention that as a present experience. But for the past experience, for example, this is the past experience, but we try to find something similar related to testing experience. For example, what happens, people with on the previous jobs, so people in testing, they work with a lot of with documentation. They need to understand how that software works, so they need to read documentation. But that's common skill, right? People everywhere, if you even accountant and you get a new software, you need to learn how to use it, and they usually have documentation, so you use that documentation, you learn that tool, that software, and then you use it. So you also work with documentation. So this person used to work with documentation. It was similar experience. So we mentioned that person worked with business analyst to understand that documentation system and finalize documentation to discuss some questions. And we used this as a previous experience. So despite the fact that this was not related to development engineer in test position, but it was very similar. So we mentioned that as well. So you can mention that as well, but do not mention anything which is not related to your current position you're applying for. Just mention your experience that is related for the current job description. Okay. And now what is important between technical skills and work experience, that everything that you mention here should be described here and vice versa. If you mention something here, it should be described here, over here. Why that is important? Because what happens, how I, as a hiring manager, I read your resume. When I'm looking for something specific, for example, this is the tools, these are the tools I'm using, which is this is what we use, and this is what we use, and this is what we use, right, on the project. So this is what I'm looking for. These are the tools I'm looking for and looking for this position. But imagine the case, for example, I'm looking for a person with Python experience, let's say, right? I need Python experience, and there are some tools, some test automation frameworks in Python, and I don't see them here, for example, right? I didn't see framework in Python. All of these are JavaScript frameworks, not Python frameworks. So this is the first question I asked. Hey, I need this person with Python and with specific Python frameworks, but I don't see this here. Okay, let me read experience. Do I see Python somewhere? Let me just find it. And this is how I do it. I just search it in the document and I see Python listed only once. That's it. At this point, I already reject this resume because I didn't find related experience, what I'm looking for. So that's why you need to understand that if job description requires some specific skill set, you need to mention that, especially if you have experience with. This person mentioned Python, so it seems like this person had some experience with Python, but I don't see any specific framework in Python. I don't see any experience in Python. So that's the problem. At this point, I already reject this resume because I don't see the skills I'm looking for. I don't see experience I'm looking for. So if you have that, if you mentioned Python here, because you have probably some experience with Python, you need to mention exactly what framework you used, and you need to mention where and when and how you used Python, for example, right? Let's say used Python to create a smoke test for build validation. Python. And that's it. This smoke test, no test, smoke test, mention like this. Okay, now it's way better. I see, okay, there is some experience with Python. This person didn't mention any framework that person used, and that's also the problem, but it's way better. I can say, hey, okay, so there was some framework, there was some tools this person used to create a smoke test for build validation. So I think, oh, there is a Python, and how I will find that? Again, I will be like just using search, and I see, okay, this is Python, okay, in there and here. Okay, so there is experience with Python. Good. So now I can consider this person for this position. And if I'm looking for Java, same thing will be here. If you mention Java because you took like 3 lessons and you somehow know Java, but you didn't have any experience with it, just do not mention it then. Just do not mention. Or if you think that you can do something in Java and you have some experience, maybe even some courses, but you're sure that, hey, I can do that. I can build that framework. I can do something in Java. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Then you can mention, but you need to create some, maybe an existing experience. Maybe you didn't have that experience in this project, but mention it. In order to get that opportunity to go to the interview, to get a job, mention that you did something with Java, if you're sure that you will be able to do that for this job. And that's it. This is how it works. Everything you have here should be listed over here. So in real, this person doesn't have experience in Python. So I will remove this and I will remove this. Now, same thing happens here. This person knows WebDriver.io imperfectly because this person has an experience with WebDriver.io. Let me actually look for it. Do this person have that experience? No, it listed once. Okay, build test automation framework from scratch. Okay, so let's page object model in WebDriver.io. So now when I look for it, okay, this is what we use in the project. This is what we need, and this person has this experience. Okay, this is what I need to match. This person learned Cypress and Test Cafe a little bit, but doesn't have an experience and didn't list that. If I'm looking for specifically for these guys, I may not consider this person because there is no mention about this in experience, in the previous or current experience. So that will be the problem. So either not mention it here or mention it in experience. So it's up to you. If you're sure that you can do that in Cypress and Test Cafe, then mention something here in your experience that you have some experience. You created framework from scratch in Cypress or Test Cafe, for example. Or if you don't have it, if you're not sure if you will be able to do that on the project, do not list it. And I remember about job description. This is the most important thing you're matching with. If job description has Cypress as a main framework they're using, and you have experience with WebDriver.io, so mention Cypress, then Cypress, because they require that. And you have some experience with Cypress. Maybe you just took some classes, but you never used it on the project. It's not a problem. If you're able to work with Cypress, especially if they have it already, so you don't have to build it from scratch, just mention that you do something with Cypress. So created smoke test suite in Cypress. So now they say, hey, this person has experience with Cypress, and this is how that person used it Cypress. Because I will be looking, if I'm looking for Cypress, I will use search, and if I don't see match, that's it. That's a rejection. If I see match, that's next step. Because especially if I'm looking for this. It's not about tag jobs at all. This rule applies for any job. For example, if you're, again, solar installer, if you use specific tools, they require those specific tools for solar installation. If you're looking for that job, mention that. If in job description, there is a specific tool or software you're using and you used to use, or you maybe had some classes and you can potentially use, and they require that, use that. Mention that tool in your technical skills and tools, and mention your experience. Say that you did something and use it for something. You know better because you're a professional in your field. So mention that in your experience and technical skills and tools. Again, the main rule in the resume, this should match with this, with experience. And then again, courses. If you took some courses, it's optional. So you may not mention any courses, but if you would like to mention them, please mention, but pay attention that you do that correctly. Because what people usually do, people lie often. And I see that clearly in resumes, but it's okay. I think that's normal. So people try to be better than they are. And sometimes I clearly see people after the courses without any experience. Of course, they create resume like this. There is some experience. They something experience from the past they redo. I mentioned that as software experience. And I clearly see that, but it's okay because I would prefer people with motivation and with will to work and face challenges, that people that are not afraid of challenges. I would prefer to hire them comparing to people with 20 years of experience that don't have any motivation. So you need to understand that as a hiring manager, I also buy emotionally. And it's proved actually that 98% of the decisions made emotionally. 98%, guys. 98, not 50%, not 30, not even 80%. 98% of decisions made emotionally. And then people would like to somehow justify that logically, but they just come to a meeting. For example, if you had 5 interviewers or 5 people reviewing your resume, they will come to a meeting room and they say, hey, I like these 5 candidates the most. That decision was made emotionally, but that person will try to somehow logically explain the decision. So you need to understand that your resume is just to show that you're motivated person, you're some creative person, you created nice email, you praised yourself in summary of qualifications, you did everything to your resume to look good and clear, so the person who reads it has no problems with reading it and looking for specific information they're looking for. So the main things they require in job description are clearly listed in your resume. And that's 99% of the success, because people will, if I open such resume and everything is clearly listed, bulleted lists, broken down to sections, and I clearly see what I'm looking for, that's it. That's 99% of the success. And if I see this kind of resume, I will bring this person to the next step, which is interview. And that is a separate story. So what is the problem with courses here? So this person, according to experience, this person first software QA job in 2017, but graduated from the courses in 2018. And there is some discrepancy over here. So this person is lying somewhere, either more years of experience, which didn't take place, or incorrect year of graduating. So in real, what happens? People really graduate courses in 2018, but they had some previous experience. So they used to work on this job. Maybe they graduated from the courses at the end of the year, for example, December 2018. They graduated from this course for manual, and it took several months to find a job. And they found a job like in March, for example, 2019, which is correct. But according to their story, if they would like to use this previous experience, a software experience, they need to mention that graduated from the course in 2017. And then if they state that they started to work as a software development engineer in test, which is automation engineer, in 2019, they need to say that they graduated courses in 2019. So everything needs to match. This is also important. So technical skills and experience need to match, and as well as courses or your education, some specific education for your current job or previous job needs to match with what you list in your experience. So that's also important. That's a tiny mistake, but many people do that, and this is common mistake as well. People incorrectly list their courses or education comparing to their experience, because they rewrite usually their experience, the previous experience, to look like software key engineer experience, because this is what was not software key engineer experience. This was similar experience. Person was working with software For example, if person, let's pretend that this person is accountant in the past, and this is accountant experience. So in order to get more years of experience, this person tries to like rewrite the previous experience and list similar skills. Since software engineer, QA engineer, main goal is to read documentation, then test according to that documentation, plan testing according to that documentation, and test and report issues. That's the main things that manual tester does. Documentation, test planning based on that documentation, then testing itself, just using with software, and then, or hardware, and then reporting issues. And this person working as accountant, for example, used to work with new software, used to work with people who provided that software, work on documentation, then started use that software, tested it, reported problems to IT department if they had, and reporting result of that work to the management. So that's very similar to what tester does. So this person decided to like redo that previous experience into software QA experience, and that's what person did. But that needs to match with courses and with education. So this is what we see. Education is accounting degree, bachelor accounting degree, and it was that person graduated in 2016, and then we can see that that person was working somewhere since 2017-19 as actually as accountant, but redo that person just rewrote this experience in software key experience, then listed that graduated from courses in 2017 when the first job started, and then listed that graduated from automation courses in 2019, which matches with this experience. And the path looks like manual tester in 2017. It looks like actually graduated from college, then decided to go to tech industry to take manual courses, then found a job in manual position, then took another course for test automation and found a job in test automation. We're currently working and looking for new opportunities in the company that posted job description. So this is how it looks. Now, I can say that I like this resume pretty much. I like it. As a hiring manager, I understand because I know all the schools that teaching people and people graduate from. I clearly know how they test projects. For example, over here, it's Apple listed, but those courses, they list some specific projects they are using for teaching people, and I clearly know them. So I clearly see when people coming right from the courses, but it doesn't matter. I used to hire many people from after the courses right away, and even giving them some preferences comparing to people with many years of experience, because the most important thing I do, I buy emotionally. As the other hiring managers, I buy emotionally, and what I need to see is motivation, because I need every company, not only our company, every company just needs job to be done. And there are people with 20 years of experience, and you clearly see the difference. That person comes to the interview, even in resume, you see that that person just says, hey, I have many years of experience. I'm very expensive. Just hire me. I will just, not you will be telling me what to do. I will be telling you what to do. I won't listen to you because I'm just a person with experience. So you feel the tensions, right away. So emotionally, you don't want to bring that person. Especially sometimes you see, okay, many years of many years of experience, just bring that person to the interview. And then during the interview, you understand that you just don't like that person. This is not the person you would like to work with. And that's the main problem. So you need to be a person everybody likes to work with, and that's it. So your resume is the first step for that. You need to create a resume that's attractive and that brings attention to your persona, and every step, everything matters. Name, your contact info, especially if you have some specific immigration status, that usually getting declined by many recruiters. Do not mention that. Clearly state your objective. Do not hesitate to praise yourself in summary of qualifications. Tell them what kind of person you are, and just remember about that comparison with the restaurant. If you open something new, if you try to advertise your restaurant, do not hesitate to praise, because that's how you bring your new customers, how you bring people to your restaurant, and that's how you try to bring yourself to the interview. Do not hesitate to praise yourself. Tell them what kind of person you are. Then, more technical side of it, if your job description requires some specific tool set, specific skill set, we need to match with that. Of course, when I'm applying for test automation positions, especially if a company requires that there is nothing specific they want to, because they want to build something from scratch. So it's up to you. If you're a good professional and you can build something from scratch using your tools, you're the best at, you use your tools. In that case, you just use your regular resume and use whatever you have. In case if they require something specific, mention that specific, especially if you have experience with, and mention it in experience. Because remember, technical skills and tools and experience should match. Because what happens when hiring manager reviews your resume, they go to technical skills, they look for specific skills they need, and then they go to experience and look what kind of experience you have with those tools. If you have that experience, you're hired. Not hired, sorry. You go to the next step, which is interview. And then if you prove it, that you're the best candidate and you're just a nice person to talk to, you smile during the interview, you're motivated, you tell them that you're motivated, right away, you're the best candidate for them. Because remember, people buy emotionally, and that applies for resume, that applies for interview. They will make emotional decision and they will try to justify that logically after that. 98% of decisions made emotionally. So your resume needs to comply with that, and you need to understand that as well when you create your resume. Okay, experience, courses, not required education. So the best part of tech industry, that for most positions, education is not related at all. So people are not looking for specific educations. There are some people from old school, they are saying, hey, how can you hire a developer without master's degree in computer science? Easily, because right now I used to work with many people who came from, I don't know, Russia, and they used to work as I don't know, as doctors there back in Russia, but here in United States, they need to spend like 5 years to get a license, because United States, they do not accept diplomas from Russia. So you have to learn from scratch, everything from scratch, go through the complex process, 5 years. So people think, hey, why do you need to do that? In 5 years, I can become a software developer at Google and get like $250K per year. What should I like spend 5 years investing time? Like you have to work on some, I don't know, as a handyman somewhere because you don't have any license, or I don't know, working as a truck driver, and then learn. And it's not just 5 years, not just 1 hour per day learning. It's like almost a second full-time job. You have to spend like at least 6 hours per day learning to get that doctor's license in the United States. So people decide to switch to tech industry. They take some courses, and in 6 months they become software developers. They start from 80K per year, then they switch companies in a few years, and they can get 250 easily in like 5-6 years, working at Google or Apple or Microsoft, tech giants, or HP. HP has actually here in Sacramento area has very high salaries. So many of my colleagues who used to work in test automation, for example, test automation engineers, 160K easily after 1 year's graduating from the courses. So that's why people decide, and more people understand that, hey, I'm working with person that has no tech education background. That person has only courses and graduated from some, used to work as a social worker or whatever. But right now, this person is a great professional. So more people understand, and right now, especially in such big tech giants as Apple, Google, they made that as a rule. You never use education as a prerequisite. So no matter what, you make a decision based on what that person capable of. If that person comes to the interview and is able to do this job better than other candidates, that's it. That's the decision. Courses, education, nothing. Degree, nothing matters. If this person graduated from the school, from middle school, from high school, and right now took some courses and super motivated and able to do this job, that's it. That's the main requirement. This person gets this job because this person can do this job better than others, and that's it. So that's the best part of tech industry right now. So what I like, that you don't have to have specific education to get a job. You just need to prove that you're the best candidate, and that's it. Okay, so that's all I have for the resume, but maybe you have some specific questions about some parts. I can, so also I will share this recording. Whatever you come from, for example, if you come from Meetup, I will share the link there in the event as a comment. I will share the link to this step-by-step guide how to do this. So what you need to do, you take your resume and just see if your resume complies with every point over here. And that's what you need to make sure. And that's it. You go through your resume, and you may watch this video recording, and maybe you will also mention, hey, I need to do something here because Arthur mentioned something over here that maybe will be important for those people who will review my resume. So that's what I will do. Share this guide, share the video, you will get the information. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How hiring managers are reacting usually for like resumes or people actually who just finish, courses, and they don't have experience, but they put like 2-3 years of experience in a resume. You probably like you probably see it all the time, but how do you react on this, and how usually the business is working in this thing, like I mean the resume?
That's a really good question. So there are two parts of my answer. So first thing is there are some things working against schools where people graduate from. So what happens? The common mistake many courses, many tech schools do, they list a single project. For example, like you see that, okay, people graduate from the course, like 50, 100 people sometimes. Some courses have 100 people and they graduate at the same time. And 100 people apply for a position and they list the same project. So you clearly say, hey, these people from that school, and they list that in the courses, right? So you clearly see the school they graduated from. They create more years of experience. I normally react to that because I know how the industry works and how, especially if those people come not directly applying on our website, but coming from some recruiters, some recruitment agencies. So what usually happens there, they just have some filters and they say, hey, for this job, we do not accept people with less than 5 years of experience. And based on that, as just graduated from that courses, you just cannot get even to the interview because that filter doesn't work for you, because those recruiters, they will filter out your resume based on that filter they have. Less than 5 years of experience and no less than 5 years, right? And that's why people have to. I don't think that people would like to do that. They can easily list, hey, I just graduated from the courses, or maybe I have 1 year of experience in tech industry, but I took some other courses, like I used to work as manual tester. Right now, I learned automation or some software development. Usually people just move from automation to software development, and they have less years of experience. How to do that? So yeah, people add more experience. Maybe they have less experience, but they add more and more and more just to get through that filter. That is okay. I'm fine, because I'm not looking at that. What I'm looking for specific tools, specific skills, and motivation. If I have 10 candidates and one of them will have skill set and experience, and I say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, bring that person to the interview. And then I see, okay, this person graduated from these courses, but has a skill set. What I personally do, I give them tasks. I say, hey, this is a task you need to complete. This is a simple page covered by automation, and these are the rules you need to comply with. Like, do that in page object model and send me a report and instruction how to run your test. You have a week for that. People spend usually that's a task for like few hours, so you need to spend maybe one evening to do that, and you do that. Then you send me your job, your work. That's it. If your code works, you get a interview, and then I will make emotional decision, because I know that this person can create what I need because I gave a task. So I have like 10 candidates who completed the task. So then I just need to find a person whom I would like to work with, and that's it. I make emotional decision. I already know resume was good with the right skill set. It was easy to read. It was nice resume. That person spent time fixing all the issues, improving that resume. It's easy to read. It's clearly stating all the skills I need and everything. It matches with the job description. That's the first step. Then the next step, interview, test, usually test. In my case, I give a test. So I know that that person can do the job. It needs to be done on the position. And then the third step will be the interview. And the interview is just to see if whom I would like to work with. And that's it. And then I make emotional decision saying, hey, this person is better. I like this person. This person is motivated. And that's it. So it doesn't really matter. If you, of course, you need to do that smart, because you cannot just, as I mentioned, list 1 year of graduating from your courses and other years of in your experience. It should match. But if it nicely matches, and I see that you have right skills, I clearly see when people graduate from the courses. But I hire people from the courses, and in most of the times it works pretty well. So I will tell you one story. I hired 2 automation engineers 1 year ago, almost 2 years ago, and they created a code on day one. So usually that never happens for developers, for automation engineers, for nobody. So the people come, they get a documentation, they try to learn the system and so on. But in my case, what I did, I selected resumes. I know that they are after the courses, but they have a right skill set. They have the tools we are using. They have experience with that, even the courses, but they are capable of doing that. So I tell, okay, this is the task. Complete it. If you do that, that's it. You go to the next level, which is interview. So like I had 10 candidates, 5 people completed the homework, that test. They send me the test. I see, okay, it's working, it's running. Page object model, everything works. Okay, then I tell, okay, then the next step is in the interview. So I need to decide and hire 2 people out of those 5 candidates. I hired 2 people, and since they have they already created that test framework as a task, so they come to work, they get a laptop, and they just start using their work as a beginning. So, and they produced the code and they won. Everyone was amazed, like, oh. And they were thinking, and most of the people, I clearly know that, hey, those people from courses. And then after all, I told them, hey, I know that you're from the courses when you graduated courses and everything, but they were great. They were great. So one of them got a job. So they both were hired as contractors for 6 months. Then they proved their skills. One of them was promoted to lead position with 125K in 6 months. In 6 months after the courses, 125K. The second person was more technical guy, and he was promoted just to full-time position with 85K, something like that. And the first person, then after a year, she left, she quit, and then went to HP and got a lead position there for like 160K. This is the path. This is the path for everybody. And the second person, since he's more technical, he learned React, and right now he's a software developer, front-end software developer. Just in a year, both of them in a year, they just, one became software developer in React and getting like also like 140 or something K right now, and the first person 160 as a QA lead, automation lead. So I clearly see, but my experience tell me it doesn't really matter. There are good people. There are. I used to educate. I'm educating people in the tech industry since 2014, and what I realized, not only my courses, but also for many companies, I used to do boot camps, and what I realized that there are always genius. They are there, and people coming like flight attendants. I used to teach flight attendants. People just have decided to join tech scene, the tech industry, right? And they become like super professional in 1 year, and you see, hey, there are always great people out there. So why you need to decline people based on their education or their level of education or on their experience if they are better than others? I used to work with people with 30 years of experience. They are not motivated. They just would like to come to work and say, hey, I'm just experienced guy and that nothing else matters. You cannot tell me anything. I just will come do like few things and just will go home, and I just need a salary, and that person is not motivated. So this is not what you're looking for. You're looking for motivation. Your company has an issue you would like to fix with hiring this person. And so when you're looking for a good candidate, you're considering many candidates just after the courses because they are great. And many people prove that. And now I have this experience. That's why right now Google and all the other tech giants, they declining that policy that you have to have some specific education level. No, if you're the best candidate for this position, you took courses and you are capable of doing this, you're getting this job because you're super motivated and you're genius. And even how Elon Musk stated, if we were right now, we have a problem at Tesla. Because if we, if for example, Nikola Tesla would be applying for our engineer position right now, he was genius. But if he was applying, he wouldn't get a job because we have some specific requirements, and we wouldn't considering him as a great candidate because of experience, because of educational level or something else. But he was genius. So we have to change that. We have to consider guys and candidates based on their motivation, based on their capabilities. If they are capable of doing this job better than others, they should be hired, no matter what. If they have just high school degree, that's it. That doesn't matter. They took courses, they are super motivated, maybe they're a genius. Why we shouldn't like reject them just based on their education level? Doesn't matter. So it does becomes a trend, and I learned this in 2014. Now I'm not rejecting people based on their education level or something like that. I see even my director, my boss recently asked me, hey, Arthur, why in your job descriptions there are no like specific educational requirements? I say, does it matter? Does it really matter? I used to hire many people and they prove that they are better than others. Why should I put that there? Just to decline people in HR department that they even will not send those resumes to me? No, I want to see everybody, every resume, and I would like to consider people based on their motivation and base on their capability to do this job, and that's it. That's the only thing that matters. And of course, when I read those resumes, that's very important that you comply with these rules, because if I try to read resume and everything in a single paragraph, it's hard to see something, decline, reject, right? And when I see a clear resume, bulleted lists, everything matching, I look for the skills, I'm finding what I'm looking for, that's it. You're going to the next level, which is for automation person, it will be tech task. For manual position, it will be just probably some interview, just with some technical questions. For software development positions, of course, some tasks from resources like CodeWars or something like that. I will give some specific tasks to solve to see how that person thinks, and that's it. I will hire the most motivated person that is capable of doing this job. That's the main approach. I will do that emotionally, and then I will try to somehow to explain that logically why I hired this person. But this is how it works. Okay. Any other questions?
The question, as I finished like my courses, bootcamp courses, like a couple months ago, maybe you can advise like something for people who is looking first job in QA, because this is really like hard. And also you were told that if we're gonna put like 1 or 2 years in our resume, nobody gonna look at our resume. We have to put like 3+, 4+. But I understand, like without experience, you know, there was like 3 months boot camp, and without experience, I cannot prove it. Even if I'm gonna put and somebody's gonna call me for like phone interview, it's gonna be hard to prove that I have this experience. And basically, if I put 3 or 4+ years, maybe they're gonna think that I stuck in one place and I'm not able to you know, to learn something else, and probably not gonna hire me in this. So maybe some advice, like what to do for first time, you know, work.
First of
like
all,
job
I
search
would
and
say,
that. Thank you.
yeah, first of all, I would say that you make sure that projects you are mentioning in your resume as your experience is not the same that your colleagues or your other students are using. Because what happens, as I mentioned, when 100 people with the same resume just applying for the position, and you clearly say, hey guys, are you crazy? You're just 100 people just graded from the course and you're applying for the same position. And that's what you need to consider, first of all, that just change your resume. What I'm suggesting to students all the time is saying, hey guys, this is the template, but every point over here, you need to write in your own words. So use your own words. So your resume is not matching. For the project, we use different names because when 100 people applying for the same position, that's it, that's failure. And right now, there are actually blacklists. Many courses, not courses, many projects. If you list some specific course or you mention some specific project the courses are using, they reject those people just based on that, because your school gets into blacklist. When 100 people starts applying for the same position, your school gets in a blacklist. And that's it. That's what you need to understand. So you need to then change your resume, remove your courses, for example, a section, change your project name, so your resume looks different. And because there are some triggers people are using. Also, adding like 5 years of experience, 3 years of experience, it's fine. This is how industry right now works. I know that there are some, for example, person comes on H-1B visa as a developer, and the spouse starts working, looks for a job, for a first job in the USA without any courses. They put like 15 years of experience. 15. And then when you have a call with that person is not capable of doing anything. It just doesn't know anything about testing, about development, nothing. Like nothing but 15 years of experience in the resume. And that's why that happens. You have to be at least at some level to get to the next to the interview, right? So yeah, mentioning experience is fine, more years than you have, because especially if you're graduated from the courses, you need to mention there. That's why you need to probably redo your previous experience into QA experience, as you mentioned, after the courses, and do not mention a single company. For example, for 5 years, you can mention one company 3 years and second company 2 years. That's it. That's enough. So mention 2 companies. What else I can say? I can say that yeah, probably like 7 years, 5 years in one company is a problem. It's like not a big problem, but people like changing companies once in 2-3 years will have an advantage. Why? Because I used to work with people for example, my first job, I joined the company as manual tester, a junior tester. And what happened, in a year, I realized that I already at the level that other people are, right? So for example, there were people working at this company for 7 years, and I already in 1 year was at the same level. So I realized, hey, there is no opportunity to grow because these people are at the same level as I am right now. So I have to move forward. So I changed the company in 1 year and get us to the second company, then grow to QA lead. They moved to the United States, then joined Apple as a QA lead. And then I realized, hey, I'm capable of doing more. And they have decided to look for another job for QA manager. And my current company, that they were looking for QA manager for 7 months. They couldn't find anybody who matches. And here I come. I just said, hey, I am a QA lead at Apple right now. I'm managing like 7 people, and they say, hey, we have a QA team, 7 people, but we are trying to grow, and we will have more people, and we need QA manager. And you have right skills. Despite the fact that you're QA lead, you have the right skills, and the company willing to invest their time into you. Of course, your responsibility is changing because as a QA manager, you have to spend more time with like billing, managing people, their skills, they improve, have one-on-ones with them, and so on. As a QA lead, you're a more technical person working with people. As a QA manager, you mostly work with like planning resources, planning projects and so on, different skills. But if they see, hey, this is mature person, you change the job. So I'm changing jobs like once in 2-3 years. And same for you. You don't have to mention 5 years of experience in a single company. Mention that as 2 companies or even 3 companies. It's up to you. That's how it looks like better. And 5 years after the courses, this is how it works right now. Right now, if person puts like 5 years, you never trust it because this is probably a person from courses, 15 years of experience. Sometimes people just come from, I don't know, from abroad and just start looking for a job without any courses and just put 15 years of experience because husband or wife told them to do so. Hey, there is nothing difficult in QA. So mention 15 years of experience, no problem. And then you bring people to interview and realize that, hey, there is no knowledge, but people mentioned 15 years of experience. So that happens. Sometimes people were 7 years of experience, real experience. Since they used to work in a single company, they are not relaxed, they cannot used to new stuff, and they cannot pass the interview because they used to work in specific environment with specific tools, and it's hard for them to find a new job because they work too long in a single company. But sometimes it works, so it depends. But for you, what I would suggest, make sure that your resume looks differently from other students. And if you mention like 3-5 years of experience, mention several companies, like you're changing them in 2-3 years. That would be the best approach for you. And again, I will share this list. Make sure that your resume complies with every point over here. Make sure that if everything is matching, technical skills matching with experience, and especially with job description. Remember, if job description you're applying for requires some specific skill or tool set, you need to match that. You need to have that in your resume. If they would like, for example, if the main thing in their job description is like, be attentive to details, just mention that in your resume. I'm super attentive to details. If they mention, hey, provide good quality bug reports, mention that the best quality of bug reports as you have seen. That's who I am. And like mention that, price yourself. Resume is your advertisement, is a flyer. Just advertises you and brings you to the next level, which is interview. You don't have to lie, but you have to just praise yourself. Just show your best sides and why you're better than others. Show your motivation. Even in words, in resume, show your motivation. That's what will bring you to the interview, to the next level. Any other questions? Good.
Thank you very much for your time and sharing all the information.
Okay, so
I have a question.
Thank you.
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. So, for example, if person works for the company as a QA engineer, for example, almost 3-4 years, and kind of stuck at work, something new want to change, and also increase the salary, what's the best word you suggest for the interview to say for the popular question, why you consider the new job?
Just honestly say, hey guys, I feel like I'm stuck and I really want to grow. I really want to improve my skills. I would like to help. So you need to understand two things. First of all, company is not like helping you. Company is looking for they have some pain. They're looking for some solution. They need more people. They don't have automation. They would like to create automation from scratch. So they will be looking for test automation engineer, right? So they have some problem they would like to solve. And you need to understand that, first of all. So when you talk to interviewer, you need to also kill that pain. Be a painkiller, sorry, first of all. And also you need to show that you're motivated and would like to grow with the company. So 3 years is not a problem. It's regular time. 3 years stuck, just say, hey, what, you're changing the job? Looking for new opportunities. I feel like I'm stuck in my current position. I don't see any opportunity to grow at my current company, so I'm looking for a new opportunity. I know that you're looking for this person, and I'm ready to take the challenges and improve myself, learn new things, and be a key person on the project. I would like to help you guys, but also to improve myself. That's it. That would be the best answer, because you would like to grow, you would like to improve, and the company likes people like that. Company likes people who learn something new, because that helps the project. And also company wants to solve some problems they have. So you need to fill that gap. And if you suggest yourself as a solution of that problem, and also say that I'm just stuck and looking for new opportunities, that's the best answer. 3 years, nothing. It's nothing. It's like normal time working in a single company.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. If no more questions, think 1 more minute. I have let me stop sharing. So what we'll do, I have 2 bonuses for you from our school. I'm not sure if anybody interested by it, but anyways, I'm just going to share that with you. So I have 2 bonuses. Is our school is subscription-based school, so we just use a subscription model. We don't have price for the course. We just have subscription per month. It's usually $4.99 per month, and you get access to any courses. But when we have agreed, when we do some webinars, we give people a discount. So I'm not sure if you're interested, if anyone of you interested, or maybe your relatives are interested. But what we usually do, who attended in this webinar gets a bonus, which is $99 per first month, just to try and meet the teachers and see if you like the school and the approach and the projects we use and everything else. It's valid only 1 hour till 1 hour after this webinar. Then I disable it. And the second one, which is $2.99 per first month, is like lifetime. So I will share 2 links in the chat right now. If you get a message in the chat, there are 2 links. One of them is super mega bonus for those who attended this webinar, and it's valid for the next 1 hour. After that it will be disabled. And the second one is lifetime. So whenever you consider, if your relatives or friends are considering and would like to try, these are the links you would like to use. Okay, that's it from my side. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything?
I saw advertising in Facebook, and I came from the Facebook where we can like download this lesson from the Facebook.
So you came from the group. So how did you find us?
I actually don't know, like, because probably maybe somebody invited me into the group.
Mm-hmm.
There's like event. There was an event in the Facebook, and
Okay,
probably somebody invited me.
So I will
or
post
just see like advertising. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, so I will post everywhere. So actually, everywhere where you found us, I will post that in our on our page, on our school page in Facebook. I will post that in invite in that event. I will post that in Meetup event.
Okay.
I will post that in the group software US North US QA group or something like that. I was advertising this event there as well. So I will post everywhere. So potentially you will be able to see. Let me send you a link for our, for our page on Facebook. So here's the, let me do like separator over here so you can clearly see. This is the group link. So it will be posted there for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and do not hesitate
Appreciate
to like that page as well. If you like this webinar, especially, do not hesitate to like that page. It will be much appreciated. Okay, any other questions? If somebody wants to know something about our courses, you can stay. Other guys, I will just post the recording for you. Post the link to that. Oh, can you hear me well? It's showing me that my connection is unstable. Can you hear me well, guys?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, if anyone interested in the courses, please stay. If nobody is interested, you're good to go. I will post the recording once it's ready, probably in like half an hour, and the link to that guide for the resume so you can go through it. I can actually post that simple resume as well, the link to that resume, so you can use it as a baseline for your resume to compare with something. And that will be it. So yeah, thank you for participating. Whoever wants to know more about the courses, you can stay. I will share my screen and tell you about the courses. But other than that, you're good to go. Thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so you can feel free to leave, and I will just wait 30 seconds and see if somebody stays and will tell more about our courses. Okay, some people are staying. Wow. How was your weekend going so far, guys? Okay, nobody wants to tell me. Okay. Then let me share my screen and explain a little bit about our courses, if anyone interested. Okay. Able to see my screen. I'll start with the mission. So the idea of our courses So I used to educate people since 2014. And I just, when I found my first job, when that company, when I used to work for, which is 1 year, when people used to work for 7 years, and I realized that I'm at the same level. So then I realized that I need to help other people to find a job. So I recorded my first course, shared it, and many people just watched the videos and found a job based on that free course. And then I used to do boot camps for the next company I used to work with. And then that company, actually, I realized that there are many genius people among those students that are coming from different industries. But there are some just great people who would never consider tech industry, but they really just graduated from the courses. They were super motivated and they become great professionals right now. So I'm really proud of doing those boot camps for that company. And then I started to doing courses. Then I started one, if you heard of PAS school. So I started it with Victor, but then I left because it became a business, which I don't like. I like more the mission. So recently we have decided with other teachers that have experience with from other schools, teachers that have similar vision that we do. So we have started this school, TechStart.dev. And what you can expect from us, we are going to do a lot of such webinars about interviews, about resumes, giving some free courses. So we have a mission. Why we have decided to leave our courses, because all those teachers we have, they used to teach people on other courses, on other schools, and they left and joined this course, this school. Why? Because we have a similar mission. We are not building like a business. So TechStart, at TechStart, we have a mission. So our mission is to build a community, because we were thinking that we would like to start something together, some startup or something that will change the world, maybe some great products that will help people. And we were thinking that we have some ideas, but we don't really have a great community to start that with. We don't have a lot of experience with that. So, and some of our teachers, they have experience with, for example, taking some startups with 5 people, for example, 5 people startup, they created some product, but they never tested it because they never had a testing team. So one of our teachers, she said, hey, I can help you guys. Let's try to test. Let's have our students to test it. So she has an idea to work with startups and test their products to give experience to students. And to work with startups to help them. So she has her own mission. We have a similar mission. So that's why we came together and say, hey, why we not do courses? So we, as based on our experience, we know that there are genius out there among those students. There are always genius, and all of you long time back graduated from some courses, but look at you now. You all work in tech giants, you get a high salary, and you are motivated. You would like to create something new. Why, if there are people that try to do the same, they would like to get a new job, they would like to join tech industry, and they would like to create something in the future, maybe some startup. Let's find them. But how to find them? We cannot just go to and Google those people, right? We need to find them. And based on my experience, I know that there are always genius people among those students. So we realized that we will create courses with the lowest prices on the market, because we are not interested in business side of the courses. We're interested in building a community and looking for those genius people. And then in the future, to create some projects with them. For example, right now I have already educated people since 2014. I have a big community saying that, and I can, and even many of those teachers we right now have, they are some my ex-students from the past, and right now they are great professionals, and that's how I found them. So let's build that community for us and find those people we will build great projects with. So that's what we have decided to do. And right now we are investing this time. So I'm doing this webinar, we are doing free courses, we are educating people just to find genius. That's our mission, and that's what differs us from other schools. That's what I left from the previous schools I used to work with. That's what other teachers left from other schools they used to work with. And that's why we are trying to build this community. And we have the lowest prices on the market for the courses and the best quality of education. And the reason is simple, because we are motivated, because we are doing this not for business. And what happens usually, just logically, right? Just imagine that you have a business and you're making money and you have like education school or something like that, and you're tired. You are tired and you say, hey, I can work less and I will work less money. I will provide less, like maybe not so good education for people, but I will be resting more. I will spend more time with my family, but I will get less money, which is fine because this is a business. I'm tired and people are lazy. Everybody's lazy. We try to rest more, right? And sometimes when we need to do something, we say, hey, maybe I will relax a little bit and not do that. And we try to push everything to the better time. That's how it works. Emotionally, we're just people. We're not ideal. And if you have a business, you start saying that, hey, I can do less over here. I can provide not so good education quality and so on. And maybe I will get less money. But for us, it doesn't work. For me, for example, I feel that, hey, I'm lazy. I don't want to do this. Why I'm doing this? Sometimes it's hard and emotionally hard, especially we need to compete with big schools that have 100 people, that have huge how they called marketing team. They're just selling these courses, and we just like few guys just working together with a mission. We don't have that. We don't have the time to relax, because what we think, hey, I have a mission. I would like to create some startup. I would like to build this community. So there is the only way to do this. Continue doing what I'm doing. So I have like 2 full-time jobs. I have my full-time job as a manager, and I have this full-time job. So I'm like working 16 hours per day, but that's fine. That's what I used to, because I have a mission and I would like to achieve that. And if you like Elon Musk, for example, he says, hey, if I'm working 80 hours per week and somebody works 40 hours per week, that's how I'm getting the advantage, because I'm working twice much as that person, right? And this is how it works for me as well. I just work a lot because I have a mission. And that's why we are motivated, because I have this motivation. I need to do this because I would like to build that community. I would like to find these genius people. If I'm resting right now, if I work less, probably I will miss some people. I will find less genius people, and I will not have these people with needed experience, with those skill set that I'm looking for, and I will not get my goal, and I will not reach my idea, right? That's what I need to do. I have to continue working. So we have motivation, and that's what differs us from others, because we have something behind it, not just business, but something, some idea, some mission we all together are working on. So that's my thing. And that's why if you go to our homepage, you can see everything is described here, why we have the mission and what difference was from others. But this is what we decided. We use real projects, the same tools as the company are using, like Google, Apple, Microsoft. We're using the same tools. So that's why what makes us different, that we are using these tools, we are buying these licenses, and this is the lowest price we can get an access to our course, because we take like most of the part of this payment monthly and pay for all those licenses we buy, and nobody's doing that. So most of the courses, they will teach you on fingers, saying that, hey, there are systems you can use in the real company, but we will be using Google Docs because they are free and blah blah blah. And they have more, and their price is like $5,000 per automation course. But if you see on our automation course over here, we don't tell people, hey, you have to take automation course, which is 4 months over here. You don't have to take that, because what you can do, you can subscribe for 1 month, especially if you came to our webinar. you get a nice discount, 99 per first month. If you came here, list is in the chat. And what you try, you say, hey, I will take manual QA course. First month, it takes 2 months for manual only. But what you get, since this is a subscription, you get coding basics for free as well. So you try manual plus coding basics. You learn that for 1 month, and then you say, hey, I like it. I like teachers, I like approach, and understand everything. I would like to continue that. So you buy a subscription for month number 2. So you graduate from QA course, you create a resume, we help you with that. You have a lot of mock interviews. We help you with the job search, and you either stop and say, hey, that's enough for me. I paid for 2 months, 99 per first month, $4.99 per second month because I attended webinar, and that's it. That's good for me. I learned coding basics for 2 months as well, and I like it. Maybe in the future I will consider some test automation of front end. Or you say, hey, I'm pretty good in coding basics, so let me take test automation. So you just subscribe for 1 month, try, and you understand that you look test automation. You learn it for 4 more months, but you can take front-end development for free at the same time because you buy a subscription for a month, and you pay, for example, just an example, you pay 4 months for test automation, and you pay only $1,996, less than $2,000 per 4 months, and you learn test automation. When other courses are priced $5,000. So this is the, again, and why is that? People asking me, hey, why is it so cheap comparing to other courses? 5,000 them, and like it's like only 4 months and 2,000 for you. Because the answer is very simple. Because we don't have a mission to earn money. It's not a business. It's only about, hey, cover our licenses, and that's it, and pay teachers. And that's what we need. We don't need any more. Our teachers not getting salary, they're getting a share of the company. So the best quality of education they provide, more they get. More students are interested, more they get, and that's why everybody's interested. So we just pay for the licenses and pay for teachers, and that's it. This is what is included in this price. Nothing else. No obligations. We don't require any payments from your salary as others do, or like 15% for 2 next years from your salary. No fees, no extra payments, nothing. Just this is the final price you're paying for a month of subscription, and that's it. And for example, and again, you take front-end development parallelly. So in 4 months, actually, ideally, just for less than 2K, you get that manual QA, you get coding basics, test automation, and front-end. There is no such courses on the market that do the same. There is no course that gives you front-end development and test automation for 2K. No course at all. And why? The answer again, mission. Because this is not a business. This is all about building a community, especially if you're not only looking for a job, you have an idea. Hey, there are some people, they just tell me right away, hey, Arthur, I'm thinking about my own startup. For example, I am a truck driver and I'm thinking about some great application for truck drivers. There is no such application on the market. I'm thinking about it. So those people take mobile development path. So they say, I'm taking coding basics, then front end, then mobile development. So I will be with you for 6 months. That's the path people taking. Some people say, hey, I would like to learn as much as possible. So I take manual QA coding basics, then test automation and front-end development parallelly, and then full stack and mobile development parallelly. And all of this, all the courses you can get in 6 months for the same price, $4.99 a month, because everything is available for you once you get from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. This is how it works. So pretty simple. Everything, every question you're asking pretty much can be answered by we have a mission. And that's why it is like it is. That's why we give everything parallelly for free. That's why the price is so low, because we are not interested in making money. we are interested in building a community. And that's it. So if you're interested, use those links, what I posted in the chat. They will give you the access for the first month for only $9.99 in the next 1 hour. If you're considering later, just save that link with $2.99. It will be working lifetime. So you'll be able to try the first month for $2.99. Or if you consider it in the next 1 hour, it will be $9.99 for you, which is like a average, maybe even less than average shopping cart, right? If you go to grocery store, you even shop for more probably than $9.99, but you get then access to the courses. You can meet with the teachers, you can try the approach, and you will decide if you like the approach. And especially if you tried some courses, we have many students. I recommend you to watch our videos with our students on our website or page, because many of them, they tried other courses, but they ended up with us and they found the job only after us, after our school. Why? Because we are motivated and we're like spending entire time, our free time with them. If they have questions, if they need assistance, if everything. Why? Because we are building a community. Again, everything comes to the same mission, because we have a mission. And if you feel that you're trying to build some something in the future, you would like to be a part of some startup, if you would like to be a part of something bigger, that's what you need to join us. That's the universal answer. We have a mission. We're not the business. We're just school that building a community. That's who we are. Okay. Any questions? Let me stop sharing. Let me show you my face on a big screen. When your courses start, the next, yeah, so you can, let me share my screen again. So we have everything listed on the website. If you go to courses, you see that the courses started, we have courses starting every 2 months. This is our path allowing us to do that. So we have 2 months. So we have students right now taking these courses. They started in mid-March, like 2 weeks ago. These guys, they learned, there's somebody goes through mobile development or full stack, they learn only coding basics. There are people that try to get to test automation, so they learn both in parallel, or somebody just learning manual QA, just would like to stop over here. So it depends. But most of the people, even who consider it to be manual QA, they take coding basics in parallel because it's for free. And what if they good at it? So they take it as well. So what happens? They take for 2 months, and then they go to the next level, and we get a new group in 2 months. So the next course starts, if you go to courses, it starts on May, so coding basics, first lesson, May 18. And oh man, what happens? And the next QA manual, for example, 17. This is how it starts. And it's 2 days per week for one course. It's 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, Mondays and Wednesdays. Why is that? Because if you would like to take this in parallel, you need to have different days, right? So if you, for example, aimed at test automation, you take these 2 courses, coding basics and manual QA. You learn this on Mondays and Wednesdays, and this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the rest of the time you have for homeworks, because there's a lot of homework as well. Project practice. So these are the schedules. Path length is 2 months for this guy, for this guy, and then you get to the next level if you want, or you just stop at this level. You just say, hey, I'm good at manual QA, I like this, I would like to find a job in manual QA, which is a lot. Like there is a lot, probably like 18,000 jobs in the United States right now for manual QA. And or you decide to move forward. You buy another subscription and you take test automation or test automation plus front-end development or only front-end development. It's up to you. And then you decide, hey, I'm good at it. Maybe let's move to mobile development. You buy another. So it's up to you. You may even say, hey, I don't like teachers. I don't like approach. So I stop over here. 1 month, I paid for one month and that's enough. But that never happened. So we never had a student. Actually, I had that in the past in other schools because they were different. And right now we are limiting groups. In our school, we are limiting groups because when I left the previous school, they started to take 100 people on a single course. It's unreal. You cannot give enough attention to those people, and people were leaving. In the middle of the course, people were leaving because they felt that they are not getting enough attention, enough knowledge, and they were leaving. Here we're limiting group for maximum at 30 people, so everybody gets attention and nobody left. At Techstart, nobody left in the middle. Everybody goes to the end, and most of the people they right away say, I'm moving towards mobile development. Some people say manual key only for now, and then I will try. Then they realize that coding basics worked well for them, so they go to test automation or test automation plus front-end development because it's free as well. So everything you see here, again, you pay just only for a month, but you get access to both of them. You paid for the next month, you get access to both of them. You paid for the third month, you get access to both of them. Fourth month, both of them. Fifth month, both of them. Sixth month, both of them. You can take one, you can take two. It's up to you. This is how it works. Pretty simple structure, pretty simple approach. If you decide automation, it will be 4 months for you, manual plus key basics first 2 months, and then test automation only, which is easier because it's only 2 days per week for you, more time on improving yourself. If you take front-end development, it's easy right away. You just do coding basics first 2 months and then front-end development next 2 months. If you move towards full stack or mobile, it can be easily two lessons per week over here, 2 lessons per week over here, 2 lessons per week over here. But most of the people take in parallel because it's free. It's free for you. So most of the people take both courses in parallel. So this is how it works. So you can check this on the courses tab and everything described. Length, schedule, when the next course starts. And to subscribe, just click this button. You need more info to read some curriculum. You can also click more info, but most of the information you will be able to find over here. Again, easy, pretty simple. Why we are doing this, why the price is that, why we break down everything to logical pieces, because it's easy for us, it's logical, and we have a mission, that's why. So, oh, that's interesting part. Somebody's asking me what languages are included in front-end development, mobile development. All of this is JavaScript. So that's we have decided. We are investing our time in JavaScript. And here is this simple reason. Because you can do this with a single language, with a JavaScript. And if you, the most popular coding language, 2021, and you open, as you can see, right, JavaScript first place. And if you open most of the links, some of them will say, hey, Python is better, probably. Some of them will say, hey, Java is better. Java, Python, and JavaScript are leading right now, the languages, but most of them will be JavaScript. And why is JavaScript? Because this is the only language that Python. This guy's saying Python, saying that Python leads Java, but they didn't mention JavaScript because they knew that JavaScript is the most popular, right? Why? Because I would actually invest right now in 2 languages, in Python and C as well. Python is good for artificial intelligence right now. So AIs usually right now are built on Python, and test automation. I would invest in that. Why JavaScript is the most popular right now? Because if you take the most popular front-end framework right now, that is React. When you go to some company and say, hey, what do you use as a front-end development framework? They will say React. We use React, right? In React is the most popular right now. That's why JavaScript is here. Then test automation, the most popular test automation frameworks are JavaScript, WebDriver.io, Cypress. I mentioned they are the most popular. If you go to npm.js and look for Cypress, because Cypress is a ready framework, you can Cypress, and you can download it and install it. So you can see It's over 2 million weekly downloads. It's weekly. 2 million people download Cypress as a test automation framework. And that's why. And this is JavaScript. Cypress is JavaScript. And that's why it's popular, because somebody created a super nice framework. It's easy to use. Everybody likes it to install and use it. It has limitations, but if you have a startup, for example, and you just test your web page, your web application with no complex mobile stuff and everything else, it's the best tool to use for mobile, for automated testing. We used WebDriver.io. WebDriver.io. It's about 800 downloads, weekly downloads. So it's like twice as popular as Cypress, but it's complex framework. It's capable of doing anything. Mobile development, has integrations with many services like Appium or Browser Stack or Sauce Labs and everything. So that's why we use WebDriver.io. It's complex. If you use WebDriver.io, you can use anything else. So we use WebDriver.io and as well as Cypress. We give some classes in Cypress as well, because these are the most popular test automation frameworks. So that's again why we choose JavaScript. Then full stack development. So in JavaScript, there is a thing called MERN stack language, MERN stack. You can be a full stack developer to knowing only one language, which is JavaScript. React.js is the most popular front-end development framework. Express.js is one of the most popular backend development frameworks. MongoDB is database, and Node.js is runtime for these two guys. It's actually JavaScript runtime. So it's called MERN. So knowing only JavaScript, you can be full stack developer. You don't have to have somebody in Java on the backend or C#, somebody on React, since it's the most popular framework right now, on front end, and blah, blah, blah. And you have some database. You don't have to have different skill set. You can have a single person or team of people knowing only JavaScript and creating the entire project with database, backend, and front end. So you can know everything just knowing the single language. For mobile development, React Native. Why React Native? Have you ever heard about Clubhouse application? Probably yes. And why is that popular right now? But they have one major problem. They created application for iOS only, and many users didn't join Clubhouse because they don't have iPhone. They have some Android devices, and they couldn't join. And they are actively trying to build right now the Android version of Clubhouse, because they are losing people, they're losing clients. And other tools are actively developing voice chats like Telegram, for example, and beating Clubhouse right now because they didn't have mobile application for Android. But what React Native gives us, you create a single code. As you can see, this is nice animation showing that you get Android and iOS application right away. You built a single code. So previously you had to hire people in Objective-C to build, let's say, iOS application, people with Java experience to build Android application separately. So you have two teams. You have to manage two teams, and they have to copy and paste their work because to build two applications. Then somebody smart said, hey, that's ridiculous. We need to have some single framework to build two applications at a time with one code base. That's what they did. They created React Native, and that's why it's right now one of the most popular mobile frameworks on the market, because you use a single code and it creates Android and iOS application right away. So you have single team, and actually many applications you are using daily are built in React Native. For example, Facebook Messenger you're using, it's React Native. I'm not sure, but seems I believe that Instagram also React Native. Many of the applications you're using daily are React Native. Why? Because you create a single application, it works on iOS and Android both. And this is JavaScript. So that's why we said, so we have two paths. One path, you teach Java, for example, for backend separately. You teach people for Objective-C, you teach two languages over here, basics, just basics of that language. For C, for example, Objective-C and Java separately. So we have one course for Objective-C basics, then Java basics for separately mobile or as development. But those people are limited, and that approach is dying. People are not going to use, many companies are not going to use two teams for two projects for different applications. They're going to use a single, which is React Native. So we said, why we need to do that? Why we need to do different courses? We can teach coding basics, and this person is able to go to test automation, to front-end development, to mobile development, to full stack development, just knowing the coding basics. Let's say if we have full stack development in different language, we have to have separate path for that, which is not related to test automation at all, to front-end development at all. It just has own path. And we cannot have people to be cross-functional. At this approach, people are cross-functional. At this point, you have decided to go, you have an opportunity to decide to go to front-end or to test automation. At this point, you can go either to full stack development or mobile development. It will take for you only 6 months, because you can either have a separate path for 6 months over here, or you already have all skills. You have 2 months of coding basics, then you have front-end development, which is prerequisites for these guys, because if you have this knowledge, then you can learn this in 2 months. But if you don't have this knowledge, you have to start a separate path for mobile development, like absolutely separate. If you learn front-end, if you would like to learn mobile development in other language, you need to start a separate path, which is 6-8 months. In this case, since React Native uses very similar syntaxes like React for front-end, that's why you can use React Native in 2 months, because you already know everything. You know basics, you know specific syntaxes that React uses. That's why you can use React Native. That's what also doesn't exist on the market. So nobody does that except us right now. That's why we have a single language. JavaScript is the most popular language in the world right now. And that's why smart and logical system that will allow you to become a full stack developer or mobile developer in 6 months. That's the answer why we use this language. Because if we used another language, you need to learn this separately, front-end development separately 4 months, then take another 6-month course for mobile development separately in other language. That's ridiculous. That's wasting of your time. You took front-end development course for 4 months, and then you have to start everything from scratch. In this case, you work as a front-end developer, and then you say, hey guys, can I learn mobile development? You come back in a few months and say, hey, go ahead, just a few more months and you're mobile development, and you can look for another job in mobile development. That's why we have this system, and that's why we use JavaScript. And that's why other languages don't work, because in Java, in Python, there is no such thing. You can do, for example, test automation in Python. You can do some application development, let's say front end, like AI development, maybe backend development you can do in Python, but there is no such tool like mobile development. So we can do that in Python. We can do the same approach with Python. We cannot do a same approach with Java. So that's why we use JavaScript, because we cannot do that in other languages. And JavaScript is the only language that allows us to do this, for us to be sufficient, successful, and for you to stop at this point, for example, and then take another 2 months, not separate course for 6-8 months, but just say, hey, 2 more months. We know that you have this level of knowledge because you graduated, you found a job. So we can easily tell you, yes, 2 more months and you're a mobile developer or full stack developer. This is how it works. That's why. Okay. When your courses starts, please clarify your special offer for us first month 99. So 2 offers, clarifying. $99 per month. This is super bonus that works only for 1 hour. I will remove it in 1 hour. It's just super bonus for those who attend this meeting. That's why I stopped sharing my screen so nobody sees the link who's watching the video. It's just only for those who spend time, come and talk to me, ask questions, and prove that you have some interest. So that's super bonus only for those who spend time, because you showed me your interest and you spent time, you invested time in this webinar. So that's why this is super bonus that works for only 1 hour. This is first month. The next month, if for example you take QA manual, it will be $4.99. And just for first month for you to try. You try, you meet teachers, you see if you like them, and you will like them, believe me. If you like the approach, if you like the school and everything else, and then you decide if you can continue. And if you tell me, hey, Arthur, you know, I think I'll stop. So thank you. But you never do that. So nobody did that before, and you will not do that. You will like the school. So yeah, that's for you just to try. And $2.99 is just lifetime. So I'm not going to disable it. It just works. For those who will maybe decide later, hey, I would like to join the school. And if you decide later, in 1 hour, after 1 hour, then the price for you will be $2.99 for the first month. And the next price is regular, $4.99 a month. This is how it works. Clear, Lena? Hope that clarifies. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, go put something in the chat or just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask me a question. Okay, some people are, we have some people working today. I will start load test one thing. Okay. Okay, thank you, Rosania. Some people are working today, doing overtime because we're publishing one project to the production. Thank you. Did it work well? Okay. So no questions. Okay. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for attending this webinar, guys. It was nice to talk to you. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I hope that helped. I will try to do my best to publish video and links to those documents as soon as possible. So yeah, if you have any other questions, just feel free to contact me. Do you work on real project? Yes, we have real projects we work on, and we put you on those projects and on the day one. So one of our prerequisites is just you registered on that. We send you like invite to the project, you join the project, and we start learning everything, not on beautiful fingers showing you, hey, this is how it works on fingers, or in Google Drive, Google Docs, we just show you that on real project, how it works. So we have some projects, we put you on right away and you start. So imagine you without experience coming to the company and let's say your relative had some agreement with the management and they brought you to the project without any experience. So they put you on the project and explain, hey, this is how it works. So try this, try to play with the project. We will tell you how it works. So you'll work and learn on the project right away, right? This is what we do. We put you on the project and you learn on the project and you get real experience without like, hey, imagine that you work on the project and this is how it works. This is the documentation. It looks similar. Maybe you will work in other tools, but this is how it looks. Let's use Google Docs. No, we just put you on the project and you work there right away. Sure, guys. Thank you for joining. I like people when people joining and asking questions. You know, sometimes I can tell you honestly, people join, they don't ask questions, and that's bad because I feel like bad. Hey, I'm spending my time, nobody's asking questions, so what's going on? But I like when you're joining, asking questions. That means a lot for me. I feel like that I do something important for you, right? When you ask me a question and I answer your question. How many of your students got a job offer taking your courses? About 70%. 70% is like average. getting a job. But I need to say that some of those 30% not getting a job is usually due to some reason. For example, one of my best students from the previous course, I wanted to hire him. He went through the interview process in my company, but he had a newborn. He just his son just was born recently, and he decided, hey, I will stop job search for now, and I will spend time with my family. I need some stability right now in my life, so I won't be joining the new company looking for a job. So he stopped. He quit looking for a job, but he was my best candidate. I wanted to hire him. So it depends. Some people, one of my best friends, actually, he came to the course because he knew me, but he decided to move to LA, and he used to be a animal doctor back in Europe, in Germany, I believe. And he decided after the courses, he was one of the best students again. And again, it's what I realized that if you're good at something, you're also good at everything else. You're just motivated person. So what he decided, he moved to LA, and he found a job in that animal business. Right now, he's trying to open his own like clinic for animals, right? And this is what he decided. However, he was one of the best students. So even although those 30% of people don't find a job, most of them, like, not because they are like not finding a job, because they decide to do something different, because they're looking right there. We have a lot of immigrants, and they just trying to try this, try that, and they decide not to go, for example, in IT, but something else. So from the previous course, only one person didn't find a job. And the reason is simple. She has a bad English and communication skills. And but she right now, we have a special offer for former students. So she's continuing learning automation right now, and she's pretty good. So for example, I can show you right now. Actually, I have that open on my screen. So do not tell her, please. But for example, here it's open, right? So you can see this Svetlana, she didn't find a job after manual course. She didn't find it, but she's taking automation courses right now, and she's one of the best. Yes, she has communication problems. She cannot find a job due to, but she never stops. She took automation course. She continues to learning, and look at her. She's the first one making 3 pull requests. And nobody else did that. Then Vlad did this after her, but she did 3 pull requests. She's doing amazing. So that's what I expect. She's the only one who didn't find a job from the previous course, but she's doing amazing. She just took the next course and moving forward and learning English. Right now, we are conducting courses in English only. And yeah, she's doing that. She's doing her best. So this is what you need to know. Because again, the most important thing you need to know about me, about the school, that we never, we never let students go without understanding that we help them. So we spend all of our time just to help everybody. So nobody never told me, hey, Arthur, I feel that you didn't give me something, or I don't have enough knowledge, or I didn't understand something. I spend, if less than 2 hours. If I feel that I need to spend more, I spend 4 hours for students, answering the questions, explaining, repeating, and everything. So nobody never told me that, hey, Arthur, I didn't understand something, or hey, Arthur, give me money back, I don't like your courses, because I'm just a simple person. I'm just trying to do my best. And students see that. They see that I'm spending my time with them, I'm explaining them, and they just tell me, hey, I don't know how to do that. You're explaining, you're repeating. Some students asking stupid questions, but you're answering them. How can you be so I don't know, so good teacher? I'm just saying, hey, I'm trying to do my best. That's the only thing I do, and that's it. And that's what you need to do to understand as well. So we are just trying to do our best. We are not making money. We are building a community. This is our goal. And that's what motivates me, because when I have a problem, when I have something what demotivates me, right? Some situation, I see that, oh, we don't have enough students for the next course. Hey, and I don't stop. I conduct another webinar, help people, have some calls. Somebody is asking me, hey, can you review my resume? I say, hey, okay. And then I say, hey, more people come to the course. Why? Because they trust me, because I help them, I spend time, and I know some of them are genius. And that's why I need to continue doing this, because I need those people for my future. I have this idea, I have this life path I decided for myself. So I have to do it. There is no other way. I have to do this. I have to help them because I need them in my future and they need me. And that's the only reason why I'm doing this. When I'm spending time, when I'm answering questions, because I need these people and they need me. And there is no way. If I give up, I don't have my future. I don't have my idea happening, right? I'm just losing my dream if I'm just stopping and giving up. So that's why I'm not giving up, not stopping, and continue doing what I'm doing, helping people, students, spending my time with them. And that's what works well for me and what works well for them. And that's why I don't have any bad feedbacks or any, I don't know, objections or whatever, concerns, because I just try to do my best. And if you, for example, go and watch the recent video we recorded with Igor, he clearly said, hey, Arthur, what I felt that nobody in the group felt that you leave the lesson with understanding that something went wrong, that somebody didn't give you enough attention or didn't give you enough knowledge. You always feel that teachers, they did their best to help you, to explain you. So that's feeling very important, because you understand that you didn't have any objection. You clearly see that people are just helping you. So nobody never told me that, hey, Arthur, I have some objections or concerns or give me money back. Nobody. I know that's happening on other courses, but it's not about us. And again, everything comes to the same reason, because we have a mission, because we're not just doing business. So what I saw in other schools, when I used to work with them or on boot camps, when people are making money, they are not giving enough attention, because they are thinking about money, about growing business, about how to make more, how to do something to make more money, how to hire maybe some more people, pay them less, maybe to do some outsource, move some processes to Russia or to India, right, to pay less money there for some services, for marketing, for example, and get more money. And that's what I'm thinking. And but why we are different? Because we're building a community, and that's our goal. And when we are trying to give up, when something bad is happening and I'm about to give up, I never give up, because I think, hey, I have a mission and there is only way to my goal, just through these bumps, obstacles, and I have to go through them and have to do my best. And that's how it works. Okay, guys. Again, thank you for participating. Thank you for coming to this webinar. Hope to see you in the future. I'm planning to have a call with Julia tomorrow. We are thinking about maybe doing some small, few days course, manual testing course. Maybe also I will talk with Stan, and parallelly we will do some JavaScript basics course. And then maybe the last lesson will be test automation course, like something simple. We cannot, of course, we cannot take 4-month course and put in 4 days. So it will be simple, but I have a clear plan how to do that for like 4 days, maybe like 4 weekends to work on some course, create some projects, simple projects. So stay in touch, subscribe or like our Facebook page. I'm usually posting everything there, all the announces, or the other groups, Meetup. If you found me there, I will be posting something there as well, or in Facebook groups, whatever. Whenever you find me, just keep in touch in there, and we will have a lot of great webinars in the future, a lot of great courses. So just keep in touch. Okay, thank you for participating, and hope to see you next time and see you in the future, and maybe as a student. Bye-bye, guys.